Okay, guys, going live. You are live. Fantastic, guys. Let's do a quick sound check, making sure you can see me and you can hear me. And I believe everything is all good. Yeah. Timon from Indonesia here. Welcome. Nice to have you. And welcome everybody. Guys, welcome to the trading room. My name is Saul. Glad to be with you. Before we get started, please remember what I show you here is only the way I approach the charts and I analyze the markets. Anything I show here is not meant to be buy or sell signal on any asset, any instrument, any time frame. You need to be responsible for your own trading, and what we do is only for educational purposes. With that being said, and as guys, welcome Enrique, Richard, Kate. Glad to have you, and well, thanks for coming. It's a pleasure to be with you. As usual on Mondays, we're going to analyze a little bit of the daily charts. We're going to try to understand the fundamentals of what's driving the markets and look for long-term opportunities. What can we expect, movements along the wake. And then if we have some time left, I will go to lower time frames and we can do some live trading. So hopefully, I've been trading a little bit prior to the session, so I will show what I did already. But I'm flat right now, so we'll do our analysis and then we'll come back, and if we have time we'll do some more extra trading. With that being said, let's share my screen over here, and we'll start with the calendar just to see what we got during the week. Of course, last week we had the NFP on Friday. Since then we haven't spoken, and it came up better than expected, and I will see how the movement we got on the charts, because I believe there was already, if we see not what I meant, yeah, so if we see last forecasts of the NFP and actual, all the actual have been greater than forecast. So I guess there was this expectancy of this time being the same. There might be many reasons for that, but maybe given the actually targeting a little bit lower, the forecast a little bit lower than expected, so the final number comes better, and we think, or which is good. Okay, it's good that it's going higher, but to give this message that the economy is doing better, which it is, so it's good. But in terms of what was the reaction to the currency, to the US dollar, we'll see it in a minute. And that movement on the charts, it's starting a new fundamental movement on the daily. So we'll look at that. Now for the coming week, today's being quite very, very quiet. Some speeches, Powell will speak here, so volatility around that. We'll see if there's some hints of what he wants to do with the interest rates. I think at this point it's very, very clear, but we'll see what he says. Now, in terms of CPI and inflation in AUD in Australia, it actually expected to increase. So even though Australia has been raising interest rates at a steady pace, seems like inflation hasn't decreased. So we'll see how's that reflected on the charts. But it's about to come higher than expected, so be aware of that one. And then we have the CPI, the inflation on the USD, that apparently it is decreasing. So we'll see also if that decreases the demand on the USD, and we'll start a bearish leg or a bearish movement for the USD. So we'll see how's that being reflected on the chart as well. GDP on the pound, and the consumer sentiment on the US dollar. These tend to be volatility, but I don't believe a lot of trends will start out of these numbers. So trying to recap what we got. the speaks, all Powell speeches, they will always bring volatility into the market. So depending on what he says, I have no idea what's going to say. We might see some unexpected movements, so just be aware around that time. CPI in Australia, I believe it will impact all Australia pairs, Australian, Aussie / something, but the USD. I think the Aussie USD will be more driven by what the USD is going to do and not the AUD. But the Aussie against other currencies might move because of this event, the CPI in Australia, and Thursday that would be the big one, CPI in the US, and then from there we can try to understand how aggressive or not is going to be next interest rate in the increment in the US. So just be aware of that, guys, and let's see how's that reflecting in the chart. So if we start with the dollar index, and let me clean a little bit the charts, this is the reaction. This is the reaction from Friday. Wait, I don't want that to expand. Okay, so that leg, okay, that candle, that red bearish candle is the expansion from is the reaction from the NFP. So if there was any chance that this channel would break to the upside, it was completely neglected by NFP. So after those aggressive movements to the downside, you tend to expect some follow through after those, and we are continuing and actually breaking last pivot points towards what looks like a final demand area. We're approaching there, so we have at least this room to go, okay, to the breaking point of the demand area back here. So we have this distance to cover yet. That should be easily achievable. That's another 80 pips, 80 so pips. Okay, so I would be selling this market all the way to that area. I will show you how's that behaving on the Euro USD, which is very similar to the dollar index, and I'm actually taking long positions over there. So that's for the Aussie. I think if we were back then on a strong dollar trend, and we had the opportunity to pull back and probably continue, this is no longer a pullback. This starts looking more like the beginning of a bearish leg on the USD. So it looks like along over 2023 we're going to start seeing the USD losing value against other currencies. Okay, so it's really losing momentum here, and it's not looking like it's going to gain momentum to the upside. So I expect the rest of the year 2023 a lot of sideways movements, slightly bearish USD. Okay, hey, so USD has approached supply zone level during NFP news release, shorted and stop loss just to take profit. Thanks for the heads up last week. Yeah, glad you took advantage of that one, Patrick. Moniel desde Uruguay. Matias, the same for you. Happy New Year, and for all of you guys. The Scruffy Trader, I thought you were on holidays. So what are you doing here? Like, glad to have you, but I thought you were in Jamaica or something like that. Anyways, glad to have you guys. Now let's jump into the charts, and I'll start with the Euro USD on the monthly, and then I'll go to the dailies. I'll show you how it's forming on the dailies. Okay, but last time price was at these levels. Okay, and on the just in terms of supply and demand, correct, we have extreme demand on the monthly, and we have mid-range demand over here. Okay, so we are right now trading around that same area. Okay, you can see there. Let's try to define that a little bit more. And so we reacted, we consumed all that mid demand, and last time we traded or initiated a movement from this demand area, moved first to these levels, and then we continued thousands of pips. So we're reacting from that area. I don't know how much we're going to react, but if back then there was this amount of buyers, that's a very valid movement to this time. Okay, if we're just trying to see where's this leg on the monthlies ending, would be very, very possible that we're moving from demand to supply on the monthlies. Okay, which is up here. We don't have anything in between. If we go to lower time frames, we might find that there's, I guess, some might be some resistance or supply areas there. But if we just stick into the monthlies, there's nothing between the demand that it's been formed right now. Now it doesn't mean it's going to go straight line. This might pull back and then continue, but there's nothing between this demand, which is forming right now, and this supply. So if you just trading the monthlies and you're long, you should be aiming to around that area. Now if we go lower to the dailies and we zoom in on what's happening, let's try to analyze how that demand formed. Okay, so it took time for the demand to actually break. Okay, we didn't have the confirmation of the demand actually being formed until that breakout. Okay, that leg, that candle there, and the breakout, and the really what turned the market from a down market into a bullish market, that was that breakout and continuation from there. Now the continuation has been a bit weak. Okay, we started well, good bullish candles, and then a lot of channel and balance movement, bit weak. Not surprising because we're approaching the end of the year, but however, we had the pullback. Okay, we have the reaction to the downside from this supply. Okay, reacted to that supply, and now that candle, that long, that white candle, that's NFPs from Friday, from last Friday. So if we see how that movement was formed, you can see that huge demand was formed. Okay, so that demand, the bullish movement from the NFPs broke through that supply, and from that supply, okay, completely invalidated that supply area, and also broke through that supply area. There was some price action over there, but broke it. And just today, we're having the formation of a new demand. Okay, so we're confirming that movement, and we're kind of following through. So my bias for the Euro USD would be to go long. Okay, because we have tested and consumed this supply area, and now if we manage to break, and looks like it's wanted to break to the upside, we should go all the way to the next supply, which is not very clear on the dailies. On the dailies, I just see a next supply over there. There might be something around that area. I would like to go to lower time frames and see what happened there. But on the dailies, it's not very clear. Okay, but if I go to lower time frames and I see this little tail was formed like an actual supply on the hourlies, so we might see a reaction. But just if I was just sticking to the dailies, I would be targeting, and if we confirm the breakout of these levels, and of course of the supply area back here, we should be going all the way to next supply, which is over there. Okay, so then I take that to be my bias for my intraday trading. Okay, so if I want to open the charts, I just want to go and look for opportunities to buy. Okay, so then I go to the 5-minute chart, and I want to see that what it looks like a breakout on the hourlies, this hourly candle on the hourlies, this hourly candle really, if I go to lower time frames, really was formed with momentum behind. Okay, so I look at that and I see there was momentum. Okay, so that's a true break, a valid breakout. Okay, if I see it on the 5-minute charts, and then I need to wait. I was just prior to the session, I was waiting for a pullback, and I was building into my long positions. I'm not sure if I can plot those or something. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so I was, I like to, to build into my position. So I started building, taking profits, building, taking profits, building, taking profits, and I was, building into the long side. My next trade would need to be, let me hide that for a minute, okay, the retest of the demand area, which is on the 5-minute chart around that area. Okay, you see the breakout and the continuation on the 5-minute chart. Now we are kind of basing, I don't know if this is going to hold and continue or it's going to reverse to break to the downside. In case it breaks to the downside, we should see a movement all the way to previous demand. Okay, you see there's nothing there. There was no sellers at all at that area. So in case we break to the downside, we should see a movement all the way to those areas. And in that area, I want to be a buyer again. So that's how I built my trading routine. Okay, I start from dailies, in this case also from monthlies, which is good. You know, those hardly change. But then I go to dailies and I get my bias from those, and then I go to lower time frames and I try to look for opportunities to trade with that bias. Okay, so if I establish on the dailies I want to be long, then I look for opportunities to long on the lower time frames. So in this case was the breakout and the pullback and the retest of the highs, which is a classic setup. You see me doing that all the time. So we saw the breakout, there was this demand, so I was waiting for a pullback to this mid-range demand. So as price approached to that area, I was just building, and as I got the reaction, I took out all the profits. Okay. Now my setup would be different. Now we're moving sideways, so I can approach this as a sideways movement. I can try to buy the bottom or sell the top, and then have my stop losses very, very tight. But now we're running to risk of breaking this lower. There will be nothing here to stop that breakout, and then all the way to those. So now my next setup would be from the 5-minute charts, the retest of the breakout, and then the continuation higher. That would be my very next setup. Okay, so that's what I'm looking. Now before we come back to this, let's go through the majors. Okay, and let's try to do a similar analysis. The pound is looking very, very similar to the euro. Okay, we had the breakout, weak movement to the upside, continuation to the downside, weak movement to the downside, and NFPs on Friday, and it looks like there's nothing here. Let's confirm that. Okay, we have very strong demand on the hourlies, weak movement right now. Okay, approaching this little supply, and then nothing. Let me have a look at that. So we have this supply area, probably the top one over there. So if we manage to go gain momentum, we shouldn't have any problem to retest the highs of that supply area. Okay, of those areas. So be looking for buying opportunities. The only thing that's holding me from doing that right now is that on the hourlies is not looking super strong. Okay, you see the difference between this weak movement on the pound and the stronger movement on the dollar. On the dollar I have, and the Euro USD I have the strong movement to the upside. On the pound it's not as strong. You see we're struggling to go up, but yet my bias would be slightly bullish. Okay, you see this is a very ugly chart. Okay, it's not something I will be approaching right now. I prefer to stick into the Euro USD, but just after that huge demand on NFP on Friday, we should see continuation, at least to retest this area right there. Okay, Aussie. Okay, and it's weird that we see here, and sometimes it's hard to connect the fundamentals from the technicals, because if we expect higher inflation in Australia, we would expect higher interest rates in Australia and a higher demand for the Aussie. So we should see a stronger reaction of the Aussie against other currencies. Let's see how the Aussie looks against let's take the euro, for example. So let me take against the CAD. Okay, kind of balance. Okay, so even though there's an expectation of higher inflation in Australia, we see okay, so I just got a bit mixed up. Sorry, guys. We saw there's inflation in Australia, so we might expect higher interest rates, and that's why. Okay, we have a confirmation. Okay, I got a bit mixed up here. We got the confirmation between the fundamentals and the technicals. Okay, the AUD getting stronger than the rest of the currencies, and we see against the USD as well. Okay, so we have an alignment between fundamentals, higher CPI in Australia, expectation of increasing interest rates, demand for the AUD, and getting stronger against other currencies. So you get your bias from there. Okay, we're very balanced. We reacted NFP on Friday, and we're actually breaking those previous resistance levels. So again, if I was trading this, I guess we're about to test those areas. And next supply over there, let's just see how that looks on the hourlies. I want to confirm the breakout was a true breakout. So we have the demand from NFP, and in this case, similar to euro, we see also a nice breakout right here. Retested and retested. So let's see on lower time frames how that was formed. Very weak, huh? So what it looks like a strong breakout on the dailies, as you go to lower time frames, you see the detail, and we got the breakout, but then retested and retested, and this is a very weak breakout. So I want to be buying this according to the fundamentals and the technicals, and really looks like a breakout on the Aussie on the dailies, but I'm struggling to buy based on the rest of the time frames. So I would stick to the sidelines. I would stay to the sidelines unless I see some extra confirmation. Okay, something bringing new momentum to the market. Let's see if we have strong supply or something to the left. In this case, supply is clear, and we have and that supply is also clear. Okay, so if we approach that area, okay, that supply in this weak way, we need to be waiting for a reaction, probably to the breaking area or to the bottom area or the NFP, demand area, and from them looking for opportunities to buy. I believe after the GDP, maybe after the CPI or until the CPI that we saw on the calendar, we might continue, with this sideways movement, not a lot of volume in expectation and actually waiting for what's going to come out from the CPI, and then we'll see either a confirmation and a continuation higher, or the reversal and the movement back to the channel on the dailies. Okay, but if I was just sticking to the dailies and to the fundamentals, I would be liking to buy AUD and also sell USD. So I have like both confirmations. Yeah, so Patrick, so Scruffy, you are in Jamaica. Yeah, nice. Moral support of Jamaica in the morning, quick short. Okay, keep enjoying. Don't send pictures, so we don't get jealous. If Thursday USD CPI that data comes in higher than expected, will this affect your opinion? Yeah, for sure. Because if CPI actually comes higher than expected, okay, they expect a lower CPI, lower inflation. So if we find out inflation is actually higher, okay, it's still high, then we expect another increment in interest rate, increase in interest rate. So that will bring back demand into the USD, and that would change my bias from Euro USD. That's correct. Okay, so if there's no surprises, we should see a continuation. If there's a surprise and CPI comes higher, then we should see a bearish movement here in Euro USD. That guy, do you sell alerts or do you use pending orders like in the Euro USD potential trade? Yeah, I do, but not for the short-term time frames. My pending orders, I use them for my long-term opportunities. So my daily trading, I use limit orders, pending orders. If I'm trading, if I have time in front of the screen, I just like to be in front of it and use market orders. I might set alerts, but if I'm not in front of the screen, even though I set an alert, I cannot go on the screen. I'm probably in a meeting or a call or something like that. Scruffy traded AUD USD this morning. We'll send you the breakdown I did for the guys this morning. Good amount out of the trade short. Well done. And USD JPY breakdown. Let's look at the dollar yen. So the dollar yen has been very interesting because we said that we are right at that support area, and we already tested it once, pullback, tested it two, is holding in there, and looks like it wanna test it again. Okay, last Friday, and we already did this analysis of the amount of supplies, areas 1, 2, 3. There are opportunities to sell, and if this one, and I'm pretty sure it was, okay, the NFP reaction is a fresh supply, we should see continuation to a lower side. So last time we visited the support area, okay, let's look at more clear. So we had the reaction to the upside, okay, we reacted nice. That's a nice demand, and we haven't visited that, so we might be facing towards that. Then we had meltdown from NFP, and now I believe continuation. We should be consuming this demand area. Now I'm not sure without fundamentals we're going to break that, because breaking that means, remember this purple line would be the breaking of this last support and a potential movement to the next one, which is 350 pips away. Okay, so there will be a lot of buyers sitting there, but if new fundamentals come and they get the dollar weaker, okay, if there's no surprise on CPI, whatever it is, there's no more demand for USD, or there's a lot of buyers of the JPY, we might see not only a retest of that support, but in this case also a breakout. And if that's the case, we should see a continuation of what already has been a very down movement and sell and downtrend. Okay, so my bias is there. Okay, I just see supply and supply and supply and supply and supply. So I want to be shorting this until I get confirmation that this trend has changed into a uptrend. Okay, So my bias here would be to short. Okay, I think we haven't consumed this demand. I think we're going towards that. So then I would go to lower time frames and I would look for selling opportunities. So then you go to the, let's say, to the 5-minute chart. Okay, we're reacting to this from the 5-minute chart to this demand. We should go all the way to this area or this area, and from there I would start shorting the market. And if we break that level, we might go all the way to those supply, very clear on the 5-minute chart, and I would keep selling this market. Yeah, Patrick, so there's some correlation because both have the USD in it, but there's also Euro and there's also Yen fundamentals. So sometimes there's no direct correlation between Euro USD and USD JPY, solely because there's also things affecting the JPY, for example. So if JPY is if something happens on the JPY that makes it suddenly way weaker or stronger, that might affect the USD JPY pair and not affect the Euro USD movement. Okay, I hope that's clear. But yeah, if I'm only analyzing the USD, you're right. If I want to go long on Euro USD, I tend to go short on USD JPY. But you need to be aware of fundamentals of the JPY, just not because sometimes there's no directly correlated, and we can see the price action is not the same on both pairs. Okay, on both pairs we don't see exactly the same movement. So just being aware of that. Yeah, so the majors tend to move according to the USD, as long as the USD is what's driving the movement. But again, sometimes there's GBP fundamentals, and GBP becomes like the strong currency, and that's what's driving the movement. Sometimes the AUD, sometimes the JPY. So you would see different movements across the majors. Okay. Right, I think we're good. Let's see if we can do some trading. What do you think, guys? So look for so I kind of want to be buying this, but this movement is very, very weak. And as I established, we might see a break of this area all the way to that area. So ideally, I want to be shorting, buying at this area down here. If I start buying now, or let's say at this support, I'll be, carrying a 10 pip risk, which is good. It's a risk I can handle. So let's see if we see the break. Of that support, I just need to be aware that this might continue all the way to the downside. Now, how many times, guys, you try and you just open the charts and you see the chart approaching support, and you want to take the short position. You want to take the breakout of this, correct? And the market breaks out and then fake out on you and reverses. Okay, wait. So in this time, what I want to do is to align myself to the bias, and instead of getting faked out or stopped out on the breakout, I want to be buying. Okay, so that's what I just did. That put another 70 something pips, dollars in the account. And that's what I do through the day. Okay, I just do some scalping when there's momentum and actually direction in the market. Then I go and I swing. But if I'm just in a quiet market like now, I see very little small candles and weak movements. I'll just try to get these little fluctuations in the market. Okay, these little scalps. Quickly, the S&P 500, the stock market. We came already from supply, we reacted to demand, and we market by the peep the demand back here. Okay, if you see it on the hourlies, you can see the demand, and if you extend that, you can see the reaction to that. Okay, it's amazing, and we just move it along in sideways, and we're attempting to reverse. Okay, but again, you see the movement or the attempt to break has been very, very weak. Okay, so I'm not sure we're going to get continuation to the upside, because on the hourly it's looking not promising. In case we do break on the dailies, we will meet very, very soon a lot of supply on this side. Okay, so we have supply, and let me see how that looks. Yeah, supply. So if we continue in this movement, okay, if we continue just in this balance, in this compression movement, that would be one of my favorite setups. That would be a compression approaching a key area, okay, a key supply. So if this continues in a compression like that, in a channel towards these areas, I will be a seller all the way. The sentiment is very, very bearish on the stock market right now. I don't see, with a 5% interest rate, having your money in cash or bonds or whatever that with a lot of security, why going into the stock market to aim at 8% or 9% or 10%? Okay, so that I think a lot of people understand, and they're bringing a lot of money from the stock market into cash or bonds or safer ways to get a 5% return. So I think we'll have some challenges breaking these areas and turning this bearish trend into a bullish trend again. Okay, so I guess we need to be a little bit lower to a much stronger demand area, and from there to initiate a new bullish leg on the stock market. Okay, so if we don't break, we don't create fresh demand right now and go through all these levels and reverse this this leg, I think the best way right now is just shorting the stock market. Okay, guys, so I think we're good. Let's see if we can have extra opportunities. The market is just slowing down terribly. We saw at the candles we don't have much today. So now I need to be patient, because I really want these to come all the way down to this area so I can buy. So I don't want to be just entering the market with no reason. And same for all pairs. So if there's any other pair guards you wanna analyze together, we can do that right now, and if not, we'll wrap up in a minute. A lot of these days, after a breakout and there's no continuation, immediate continuation, it's like a week, you know, without a lot of follow through to the upside, we tend to see the market just continuing sideways for the rest of the day, especially after we got already the US market open and there was no significant movement. So that brings the opportunity to just learn to trade sideways movement. Okay, so if we go higher, I might start taking some shorts. Yeah, let's look at gold. Okay, right now gold is very aligned to the rest of the currencies. We had the demand, strong impulse, then weak movement, and then instead of breaking down to the opposite side, we have the NFPs and we have reaction. You know, we already reacted to this supply back here, and with the NFP we created fresh demand. Okay, so my bias is very, very bullish at this stage, and I don't think, okay, we're trading right now at this level, there shouldn't be a problem. We shouldn't have problem breaking that level right there. On the dailies, I see supply. Let me see if I see anything else from the hourlies, and let me just refine those as well. Okay, so we're right now trading at these levels. You can see the gray line. We should break that. It shouldn't be a problem. And then let's zoom in a little bit. Might be something there, not very strong. Also this one suddenly doesn't look so strong. You can see when we attempt to break, there was a very, very weak movement, so I'll cancel this one and I would stay with that one. Okay, you can see that was a strong movement to the downside. We didn't go back to it, so now let's now extend this to the dailies. There we have it. So I'm bullish biased. We should test that and we should see certain reaction at that supply area. But if we break that, and we might be there by the time there's some fundamental release or something, and once we break that, we have open space all the way to the very tops there. Okay, the next supply. So that would be the target. So it's actually, you know, if we manage to break that, the resistance we're right now is not a bad opportunity to go long and hold and be very, very patient up to the next supply area, which is there. And of course, all stops need to be below below demand. So that would be 170, yeah, 2-to-1 risk reward trade. Okay, something like that. But if I go then to lower time frames, I want to look for opportunities to go long. Okay, that's the idea. Pound yen. So I guess the yen pairs are very aligned to what's happening in Japan. Let me bring euro yen. Yeah, so these are driven more by the Japanese yen. So we are at a very strong in the GBP, JPY, very strong demand. I don't see a scenario where we break this demand, but my bias would be to the selling side. Okay, so right now we are close to supply. Okay, we haven't got there. Actually, we're just reacting from what looks like a kind of demand. So we might test that supply on the hourlies. And if we break that, we wouldn't have anything all the way to that supply area. Okay, so if I were just starting out, I would be looking for this to short at this area. If that fails, I will take the loss and then wait for the market to see how the market approaches that area. But that's a very strong, you can see the strong supply area. So I want to be short. So kind of sideways on the macro picture, but a slightly bearish bias. Okay, so I want to be short in that area and short in that area. I don't see a scenario where in the short term we break up that or we break below that. Okay, so also if we continue down, I would see how the demand looks back here and start buying. Okay, so mid-term I want to be shorting. Long term, if this comes down, I want to be buying, or if it goes all the way to the tops, I want to be selling again. Okay, it's a very large range. And euro yen very similar. Okay, we have supply there and supply there, so I'll be shorting those. And in this case, we don't have the demand we have here. Okay, so that very strong demand, I don't have it here. If we suddenly break to the downside, we might start a very long leg to the downside, because I don't see the demand to hold it all the way to this area right there. Okay. So yeah, guys, I think that's it. All the yen pairs look very similar. So you want to be long yen. Let's see if we can get a little extra scalp. Last one. So I want to see market really approaching a little bit higher. It's coming overextended, which I like it. Let's see if we can get a little short if we stay together, but if not, I'll just let you know how that went. Okay, guys, I'll let you know. I'll let you go. I'll be over Traderlicious on Wednesday with Jordan, so we'll be doing less analysis and more trading, so should be fun. Yeah, stick around, guys. So thanks for coming, thanks for staying, and see you in a few days. Thank you, guys. Thank you.